Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about my swirl ring designs. Also, later in this video I'm going to show you how I made this swirl ring by hand. To make the swirl rings, I start with round strands of gold and swirl them into different patterns, a lot like your old filigree jewelry. I think the real unique magic of the swirl rings is there's never two alike. So each one is going to be an original work of art. When working with customers, we often get an idea of the colors of the metal that they would like. We get an idea of the size ring, whether they want a real wide ring or a narrow ring. And we also decide whether we want a tapered ring, which tapers down at the bottom, or whether we want a straight ring that basically is the same width all the way around the finger. Some people will use birthstones and follow their children like in a mother's ring. Other people will use stones from grandma's ring or grandpa's ring. These are really special pieces and I thoroughly enjoy making every single one of them. I believe each one of them will be a treasure through time, as there may be a time that people couldn't even imagine that someone would take the kind of time and energy to completely make a ring like this totally by hand. So today I'm working on a pretty cool swirl ring. It's for a lady who I guess first saw my work decades ago at Penzig, one of the big medieval festivals. She recently traded in some gold and wanted me to make a ring. She had a few diamonds she had been saving over the years and a few little emeralds, and wanted them all put into the design. Started with a tritone because she wanted the tritone, sort of like the rainbow ring look, but she wanted rose gold outer bands to give it an overall rose look. The first thing I did was to twirl the tritone metals to make some really nice swirls. I love doing the swirl work. My fingers just naturally flow with it. I feel them under my fingers and I control the size and shape and where they're going. And and I think about the overall design and how I'm going to fit it into a structure, and then where I'm going to put my stones. I kind of follow the metal. I follow where it wants to go, and just use my fingers and just twirl the metal, and then shape it into the shape that I want it to be. So I often start with the outer bands. In this case, we're using rose gold, a 14-karat rose gold for the outer bands. I love rose gold. It was very popular in the 30s and 40s, and then it kind of disappeared for a while, but it's really made a comeback in the last decade or two. Rose gold has a copperish look, but it looks like copper that's polished and that stays polished, unlike copper, which kind of turns brown right away. In this ring, we're incorporating both the main color is a rose gold, but we're also using 18-karat yellow in the swirls and a little bit of white gold to give a white accent as well. So when I'm actually adding the beads, I'm doing a technique called fusing. And what fusing is a method of welding that doesn't use solders. Solders are like a metal that melts at a lower temperature to put things together. Here I'm actually just using the metal. Fusing is a little bit of a challenge because what you're doing is you're melting the actual metal, the actual gold, into the piece. And there's just a split-second moment where it bonds and it creates a beautiful little bead. But a moment later, it kind of melts everything. So you've got to learn to just ride the edge and get your piece hot and just put your bead right where you want it. So all I'm doing is just very carefully adding some of these little beads. It was a complete pleasure talking with you today, and I hope you enjoyed seeing some of our swirl ring designs. If you're interested in having a ring made, just give us a call, and I'm sure that we can vision some wonderful piece of artwork together that you'd be proud to wear. Again, thank you, have a beautiful day, and remember, life is a passion.